Hi, I'm Laureen Hayden. Today we're going to enjoy a mindful flow practice starting in a seated position, working up through strength and balance poses, then back down to end in relaxation. This is a great practice for days when you want to ease into your practice. So just find a comfortable seat. Let yourself get oriented to your room. Just notice what's around you. Taking in the sights, if there's any aromas, sounds. And feel the base of the body touching the ground. Feel your clothing against your skin, the air on your skin. And then just begin to observe your breath. So you can notice the breath coming in and out through the nostrils. Feels cool going in, feels warm going out. And as you begin to interiorize your mind, begin to feel the breath filling your body vessel so that when you inhale, perhaps you feel the belly rising or moving out, the lower rib cage expanding slightly, maybe your chest rises. And when you exhale, just let it be a big letting go. Just let the breath out. And as you feel comfortable, you can begin to deepen your breath. And as you breathe, you might start to notice that the breath has kind of a vertical orientation through the body. So the inhale feels like it's rising up, the exhale feels like it's settling back down. And you might also begin to feel a little bit of spinal movement. So naturally, when we breathe, the breath and the spine are always doing a sort of dance. So that an inhale breath creates an extension through the spine, the front body opens a little bit. And the exhale naturally creates a little bit of flexion where the back body opens a little bit. And as you notice this, feel free to join with it and increase it. And throughout the entire practice, just tune into yourself. Take the movements that feel good. Everything is gentle, exploratory, and incremental. We will never want to have any forcing or stressing or straining in the practice. And so if this is feeling good, you can increase as we gently move towards a seated cat-cow movement, meaning we're just extending. With the inhale, the sternum rises, shoulders go back. You can even squeeze your shoulder blades together as the tailbone moves back. And when you exhale, you can hook your fingers around your knees, let your chin drop toward your chest, and roll toward the back of the sit bones. So just do this several more times. If you have Ujjayi pranayama in your practice, this is the sound breath in the back of the throat. So there's a little light contraction of the vocal folds, and you can hear the breath there. You can feel it moving there. And if that's something that's comfortable for you and happy for you, you can begin it and use it throughout the practice. So we'll take 2 more breaths like this. As always, if you want more, feel free to take more. If you want less, that is also fine. Next, we're going to change to some easy seated twisting. So with your next inhale, lift up tall, straight up through your crown of your head. As you exhale, cross one hand to opposite knee, and that same side hand goes behind as you gently twist, looking over the shoulder. Inhale to come back to center and really lift up in the center. Don't skip through center. As you exhale, twist to the other side. So we really want this movement to be coming from the center of the body. So we're using the oblique muscles around the waist. We're using some back muscles, some abdominal muscles. And the hands are really just here for support, for maybe stretching, opening behind the shoulder blades. And just make it comfortable and happy and nice for yourself. You may notice as we move through these dynamic postures that the body will take in a little deeper stretch each time you return to the same position. Just notice it, observe it, enjoy it. You should always find pleasure in the practice, noticing the sensations you're creating in your body, knowing that you are completely in charge of all of the sensations that you're creating. We're going to take one more round each side. And next we're going to do some side bending. So we're just working the 3 primary movements of the spine with your inhale back up to center. Exhaling, you can sweep an arm over. The opposite hand is supporting on the ground, bending that lower elbow. Inhale to switch your arms, reach up. Exhale, bend to the other side. And again, we'll just do this a few times. We're just waking up the body. Inviting the body into awareness, into movement, into exploration and enjoyment. Letting the head be part of the arc of the spine is going to give you a nice stretching feeling through the neck. We really want this to be a straight side bend here, so the shoulders stay square ahead as best you can. And we'll take one more round here, either side. Inhale, lifts, exhale to invite yourself in. And then finishing up on the opposite side. So just come back to center and take a resting breath. And you can already begin to notice the shifts and changes that you've made in your body, in your energy, how you feel. And next we're going to combine a bending and twisting action. So take one hand to the side, inhale, opposite arm reaches up. As you exhale, twist and bow. Let that upper hand come all the way down. Let your face or your forehead bow toward the mat. Inhale to sweep up and switch arms, and then exhale over to the other side. So we're just asking the body to come with us a little bit deeper here through the center body. Being mindful, observing what you're creating here. Feels so good. And we will do one more round. So one movement to each side. Always letting your own breath pace dictate your movement pace. And then return it to center. Take a resting breath. When you're ready to move again, just separate your feet very wide apart. So you can use your hands behind your hips to try to level your pelvis. It's fine to keep your hands behind your hips if this helps you feel like your pelvis and your torso are both in an upright position. This can be great for helping to open up through the backs of the legs, front of the chest. If you feel stable here, you're welcome to move your hands. So most of the poses, we just want to let the hands go where it feels supportive and useful and comfortable. And so we're just going to breathe here, our first really sort of still pose, but we're never really still in our practice because that breath is always moving inside of us. We're always moving through the spine. So you might find here that your inhale might want to lift you a little bit out of the stretch, and then your exhale might invite you to explore a little bit deeper. So just play with this. Let yourself go where you feel good. You can reach out through the heels if you want to open more through the backs of the legs. You can always roll the flesh around the thigh bones if you want to encourage more of that forward tilt of the pelvis. Just be gentle, kind, and inviting. And if there's somewhere you just want to hold, if you have some blocks, you can always use the blocks here, resting your forearms if that feels comfortable. Take a few more breaths here. As always, if you want to stay longer, you can. If you need to come out sooner, no problem. So we always return the attention to the breath. We're always exploring through the body. And once we're acclimated to our position, kind of know where we're going, we return to the breath. We want to keep our breath flowing throughout the practice, if possible. Sometimes it'll be stronger, sometimes it'll be lighter. When you're ready to change positions, bring your torso upright. You can use your hands behind your thighs to bring your soles of your feet together. And let's create a diamond shape in between the legs so that the feet are a little away from the body. So we're going to take this into a diamond forward fold. And same action, leaning out from the hips, hinging at the hip creases, leading forward with the heart. Letting the exhale call you in, really starting to get into the outer hips and the upper legs. So we're really starting in the center of the body and moving our way outward in our practice today. Again, using the hands to support you wherever they feel the best for you. And you can kind of just let your head hang if that feels okay for your neck, maybe aiming your head towards the little bowl that's created by the soles of the feet being together. A few more breaths. See if you can soften through the hips. We're just coaxing the body open, just inviting it to take in the depth of the stretch. Whatever depth that is for you, it shouldn't be 110%. We always practice with our 80% rule, so when you're ready, you can come up, bring the knees together, and you can extend your legs forward all the way long. Reach out through your heels. You can rock a little side to side, again, trying to bring your pelvis upright. We're actually going to tilt the pelvis forward one more time here on the ground, leaning your heart towards your toes. The belly is moving towards the thighs, not to say it will touch. And we have a flat back, so we're using the muscles in the back to keep the front body open. A couple more breaths like this. Again, you can just ease into it with each exhale, perhaps inviting you a little deeper. No sense in pushing or stressing, just go where you want to go. You're always getting all the benefits, no matter where you are in the pose. Even just thinking about doing a pose has actual physiological benefits. When you're ready, you can shift into more of a forward folding manner by bowing the head, letting your face go towards your shins or your forehead. And just take some breaths into the back body. Again, the hands can go where you like, on the legs, on the floor, maybe hooking around your big toes with your peace fingers. Taking a final visit here into the depth of the stretch through the entire back body. So we're stretching from the heels all the way up through the back of the legs, through the back, up into the neck, and even the back of the scalp. When you're ready, you can come up. Take a resting breath. Next, we're going to transition to hands and knees position, coming into a tabletop. So you can just fold your legs under, bringing your knees below your hips, the wrists below the shoulders, And if you'd like for comfort, you can have a blanket under your knees. And if it feels better for your wrists, you might choose to move your hands about a hand's width forward of the shoulder alignment. You can touch your big toes behind you if that feels nice. Spread your fingers out so the weight is across the whole hand and the fingers. And we'll just do some easy cat-cows here to get into a rhythm. Inhaling, front body open, tail up, chest up. And then exhale, tuck your tail, let your head drop down, push the floor away with your hands. Again, inhale, this is cow pose. Front body is elongating. And then exhale to cat pose, back body is opening. And again, we'll inhale to cow. This time curl your toes under and press yourself back, lifting the knees. We're going to move back to take our first downward facing dog. You can adjust your feet. You can move and wiggle if you want to walk out your feet, stretch the backs of the legs, if you want to just hold still. And just get a sense of even weight across the hands, arms long, and the heart a little bit melting back towards your toes. Taking whatever movements call to you here. You can pedal the feet, you can lift and lower your hips. Stretch through your sides. Maybe look side to side. And then we'll even up. After your exhale, bring your knees down. Lift your chest, tail up, cow pose. Uncurl toes, round your back, cat. This time we're going to lift the hands, rise up, exalted camel pose. Open your heart to the sky. With your exhale, start to move your hips back. Body comes forward. Come with a flat back as far as you can, then hands down, forehead down. Swoop forward into cow pose, bringing the heart low and then lifting as the elbows come up. Curl your toes, press back to downward dog. Bring the knees down and inhale, again, cow pose. Exhale, round your back, cat. Lift the hands, rise up, inhale, open to the sky. And exhale, your extended child pose, bowing. And one more round. Inhaling, heart leads forward into cow pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Knees down, chest up, cow pose. Exhale, round your back, cat. Rise up, exalted camel pose. Really open your heart to the sky. Easy back bend. And exhale, extended child pose. You can hold here for a couple of breaths, maybe tent the hands so that your fingertips are on the ground, but the palms are lifted. Take some deep breaths here. If you can, connect your forehead to something, either the ground or a block, or you could even fold your hands here if you want to rest your head on your hands. So we're working with this Ajna Marma, this energy point on the forehead, that helps to regulate and balance our biorhythms. Deep breaths. You can flatten your palms down. Coming forward, we're going to return to downward facing dog for a few breaths. Putting the weight into the fingers, the tops of the palms. Lift your tailbone up toward the ceiling. So we want to have the pelvis and the torso in one long line with the arms. However that feels in your body, whatever that long line feels like. And then when you feel complete here, look forward. Let the inhale breath step your feet up toward your hands. Inhaling to a half fold. Exhale, active forward fold. And we're just going to pause here, again, still warming into the practice. If you want to let your palms face up, you can. We want the arms to hang heavy. The head hangs heavy. We're just letting our friend gravity do the work to lengthen through the spine, open space between the ribs. Lengthen through the neck. If you want to move your head, shaking yes or no, just do what calls to you, what feels good here. When you're ready to change, we're going to drop the weight back to the heels and lower the hips as we lift the head, look forward. flat back position, arms out to the side like wings, and then push through the feet and rise all the way up. Bring your hands together at the top, maybe interlace with pointer fingers released upward, and we'll take an exhale, side bend over to the right. Inhale back up to center. And then exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, center, and just float your arms down by your sides. Coming into mountain pose here, you can kind of take inventory here. Starting at your feet, you can feel your feet on the mat. Feel your knees right over your ankles, the hips over knees, so the legs are vertical, knees unlocked. Pelvis just about level, so maybe you feel like your tailbone's reaching down a little, spine lifting up, shoulders relax down, lifting up through the neck and the crown of the head. Soften your face. And just notice yourself here. It's okay if you want to let your eyes close for a moment or not. Next, we're going to move into some warrior poses. So we're going to keep the left foot forward and just step the right foot back. If you want to step over your blanket there, you can just move back on your mat. Try to keep your hips square ahead. So now the right hip is moving forward, left hip a little back. Fine to keep hands on hips. If you like, you can sweep up. Inhale, breathing. And with your exhale, bend your front knee. And see if you can rock a lot of weight back into your outer back heel, outer edge of the foot. And just bend that front knee as much as it feels good. You can creep the front toes forward if you want to bend a little deeper, but do keep your back heel grounded. Let there be an even weight between the front and back foot. From here, we're going to move into our warrior 3 pose. So just sweep your arms out and back like wings with the palms facing the ground. We're going to shift all the way to the left foot. You can step your right foot forward, gain your balance. Make sure that your left knee is not locking out. And then start to lift your right leg. Keep the heart open. Keep your gaze a little forward. And only come forward as much as it feels good to you. We're hinging forward on the left hip. Keep your right leg super active. Couple breaths. When it's time to change, we're going to bend the front knee, the standing leg. Step your right foot way back. Reach up with your inhale. As you exhale, open out for second position of warrior. Exhaling, bending into your left knee. So here again, you can play with that inhale, lifting action, exhale, sinking motion. Arms reaching side to side or hands on hips if that feels better to you. You can always use cactus arms, wherever that feels good for you. A little bit thighs rolling back. Tail reaching down but not under. When you're ready, you can shift your gaze over your left fingers. Turn that left palm up. Drop your right hand back to rest on the back leg as your left arm reaches up and over. Reverse warrior. Coming through center, we'll come to side angle. So just lean your left forearm on your thigh. Right arm goes up and over, long stretch through the right body. Keep bending your left knee, sinking your hips, and get a sense of spinning your rib cage, open and up, heart toward the sky. Reach through the right arm. And then we're going to come right into center. All 10 toes pointing forward. And we'll take a wide leg forward fold. Inhale here. As you exhale, hinge from the hips. Lead with your heart. Again, if you want hands on thighs or hips, perfectly fine. The hands can come to ground. If you have blocks or a block and you'd like to use it in front of you, that is totally fine. And let your exhales invite you to fold. So we really want to be hinging from the hips and elongating through the spine. So as much as you can with a flat back. If you want to tick-tock your hips a little, side to side. That might feel good. And then when you feel complete here, you can heel toe in a little bit if you'd like. Slight bend in the knees to come up. And we're going to step the left foot over to meet the right and turn around to the short end of your mat. Take a resting breath or two in mountain pose. So we're just going to repeat our warrior sequence for the other side. This time we'll keep the right foot forward. You can bend into both knees and then step that left foot back. Square up your hips, a little bit left hip forward, right hip back. If you like, arms over, inhale them up. And then bend your front knees. You exhale and invite yourself into the pose. You can drop your shoulders down, but reach your arms up. Stay with your breath. So this feels like a little bit of a back bend. The back leg is nice and energized, kind of squeezing the muscles around the bone, maybe sinking a little deeper in the front knee. And then we're going to switch to Warrior 3. So you can sweep your arms, shift the weight to the right, lift your back leg. So both legs are straight. We're just hinging on the right hip. Heart comes forward. Breathe. Keep your gaze fixed to help you balance. It's okay if you need to step down and come back in. No worries. Actually, it's the falling out where we get the greatest benefit of retraining ourselves to balance. When you're ready to change, bend your front knee. Step your back foot way back. Inhale, arms over. And as you exhale, you can wiggle feet wider if you like and come into Warrior 2. So we want to square the hips up. You can even use hands on the hips if you want to kind of wag your tail. And find where it feels level. Choose where your arms feel best. Another breath. As you're ready, you can shift your gaze over to the right. And with the right palm up, left fingertips drop back. We arc that upper arm over. It's kind of like a double rainbow. The spine is in an arc all the way from the tailbone to the head. The upper arm is a mirror of that arc. And next we'll move to side angle. So coming through center and lean into your right forearm. Forearm against the knee. Left arm comes up and over, real long stretch through the left body. And you can keep dropping your hips here. So just explore the strength of your right leg here. As you're lifting and spinning your heart up toward the ceiling, that left shoulder's going a little back. And then coming up through center. Our second round of forward fold, inhale, and hinge forward. If you like, you could clasp your hands behind your hips. Maybe get a deeper shoulder stretch here. Perfectly fine to just bring the hands to the ground. You can use the hands on the outer ankles or heels. And just try to elongate the spine, lengthening out. Tailbone feels like it's pointing up. Forehead reaching toward the ground, right at the hairline, like you might even touch your head to the ground. And then when you're ready, a little bit soft knees if you want to heel toe in a little bit and rise up. And we'll close this pose with the arms coming down. Right foot stepping in toward the left. And just come into your mountain pose here for a couple of resting breaths. So when we pause and rest in between poses or in between sequences, this gives the body an opportunity to digest the information that we just gave it through the movement. So next we're going to practice a simple standing balancing pose called crane pose. So just shift your weight. You can start with the weight in the left, and we'll bring the right knee up. So we want to keep our mountain pose inside of this standing balancing pose so that your standing leg is nice and vertical and strong. Pelvis is level. Shoulders are over the hips. You can interlace your fingers around the front of the knee and really pull that knee in toward your body so you're engaging in your biceps and your triceps of your upper arms. Strengthening, maybe it feels like you're pulling your shoulder blades a little together, heart opening. It's perfectly lovely to stay here. If you want to challenge your balance, you can release your left hand and let the right hand guide the knee out to the right. Left hand can go wherever it feels good to you, maybe hand to hip, hand reaching out. Try to keep the hips forward even though you're moving the leg out to the right. And we're going to bring it back through center. Let the left hand hold the knee and draw the knee across the center line. And if you're feeling strong and balanced, you can sweep your right arm all the way out to the right, maybe even shift your gaze to the right or back behind you. Keep lifting up through the crown of your head. Move the gaze slowly. And when you're ready, you can come back to center. And let's try that on the other side. So shifting the weight to the right. Again, that standing knee is always just a little micro bend, not totally locking back. And if you're interlacing fingers, try taking the opposite interlace of the fingers and pull the knee in towards you. Feeling your center of gravity in the center of your pelvis so that you have that low center of gravity. Maybe the left toes are lifting up. Arms are strong. Breath is smooth. Fine to stay here, or if you're challenging, you can take that leg out to the left. Let your right arm go where it feels interesting, happy, creative, and free. And then we're going to bring it back through center and take this opposite twist all the way out to the left. So this is our beginning form of dancing Shiva pose. When you're ready, returning to center and then stepping left foot down to the mat. So just feel what you feel. Notice what you've created. And we're going to take one more standing balancing pose here. So let's come into tree pose. You can shift the weight to the left. Again, we'll start with the right foot lifting. And even if you want to keep your right toes on the ground, it's perfectly great. So we're just going to turn the knee and the toes out to the right. And first position will be heel against the ankle. And if this is where you want to stay, this is awesome. If you want to challenge your balance a little bit more, you can move the foot up to the calf. You might like hands in prayer position in front of the heart or hands on hips. If you want to take the foot to another position, a little more challenging, you can pull your foot up to your inner thigh. We just don't want to put that foot against the knee, so either below the knee or above the knee, or if you like, you can even pull the foot up in front of the hip and move that right leg into a half lotus pose. So wherever you are, just let yourself be there. Enjoy what you do for you. If you'd like, you can grow your tree branches out or up. Find some stillness. Just listen. Smoothly release, stepping into the right foot. And again, so this time left toes out, left knee out to the side, hips stay square. We're just rotating out through that left hip, heel to ankle, foot to calf, foot to inner thigh, or a half lotus. If you're taking that half lotus, you can keep holding the foot with your hand if you like. the foot will stay, you can move your hands wherever you like in your tree pose. Tailbone reaching down, growing yourself up toward the sky, feeling the strong root through that right foot and leg. And when you're complete, you can release. So just turn around to the short end of your mat. We'll inhale, arms up and over, interlace fingers at the top, release index fingers, and reach down through your heels, firm up your thighs. We'll take another set of half moon, this time over to the left. Inhale, up center, and bending your half moon over to the right. Inhale, up center, nice and tall. Lift out of your waist. As you exhale, separate the hands. Soften your knees, hinge from the hips. Always come forward with a flat back, hinging from the hips, then hands down, then your head goes down. Inhale, halfway up. And then place your palms down and just step your feet back and put your knees down on your mat. So we're going to come into flying dove pose. And you want to have your knees just inner hips width, so your thigh bones are just about vertical for stability. And we'll take the right leg back. You can start with your toes curled under, or just go ahead and start lifting the leg approximately parallel to the ground. So we want to make sure that we have some action of lifting through the center body here. This is one of the best postures for working with a strong and straight spine. So you can use the muscles in the back of the leg to lift that leg up level while you keep the hip forward and level. If you're feeling strong and balanced, you can reach your left arm forward. Reach from fingertips to toes and those extended limbs. Keep lifting from the sides of your waist. And if you want to do something a little fancy, you can bend your right knee, reach your left hand back, maybe find that foot. So this is going to work your balance here. If you want to kick your foot against your fingers, maybe turn your chest a little bit out towards your left. And when you're ready, release back to your hands and knees tabletop position, and we'll do the same for the other side. So we'll take the left leg back, maybe pressing back through the heel to start with toes curled under, and then that leg lifting. So we want to make sure that we're not just sinking through the low back and the pelvis. We want to keep everything nice and level, strong, lifting from behind the kidneys. Maybe your right arm can lift and go forward, challenging yourself here with a little balancing. Reaching long through your extended arm, through your extended leg. And if you like, you can bend your back knee. Reach your right hand back, see if you can find the foot. Take your time, slow movements. And then if you have it, maybe kick a little bit. Maybe lifting your chest a little bit open to the right. When you're ready, you can release. Separate your knees out nice and wide. Move your hips back toward your heels and just come into a relaxing child pose. If you want, you can use your block under your forehead. And just feel yourself here. Just letting your body digest all the benefits of everything that you just did in the last sequence. And then when you're ready to change, you can walk your hands in, bring your body up. We're just going to take the legs out in front. So you can scoot your hips over to one side and swing your legs around. And we're just going to lower ourselves slowly down. If you want, you can reach arms forward, or you can use your hands behind your thighs. And just see if you can roll down with some control, one vertebra at a time. It's fine to use your hands, your elbows behind you, if that feels better. And then once you find yourself reclining, you can reach your arms up overhead. And we're going to come into a reclining pigeon pose here, crossing right ankle over left thigh bone toward the knee and bringing both legs towards you. The right hand weaves through the center space, and you can join your hands either behind your left leg or around the front of the knee. Just find where it feels comfortable. And let the weight of the hands pull your legs in closer. Again, so you have total control here of the depth and the intensity. So never pushing past. When we push too hard, the body resists. And we really just want to invite the body to relax, let those muscle fibers lengthen and open. If it feels good to you, you can rock a little bit side to side. You're going to notice a shifting feeling in that right hip. Might feel good to the low back. When you're ready, switch your legs. So this time, left ankle crosses right knee, the left hand weaves through the center space, and the hands can come behind the right thigh around the front of the knee, and just pull the legs gently towards you. Tiny increments at a time, just finding your happy place. We're going to close our practice this morning here with a reclining spinal twist. So let your right foot come to the ground, left leg all the way long. Scoot the hips a little bit over to the right. Place your right foot up on your left thigh, left hand over the knee. Inhale here. Now as you exhale, roll everything over to the left. So we're going to let that right shoulder lift. We're going to bring the right arm over. We're just going to roll as much as we can over to the left side. Inhale to sweep your right arm up. And then start to bend the elbow a little bit. Start to turn your head. We're slowly letting that right arm open out to the right. Might feel good to angle it slightly upward or just go straight out of your shoulder. It's not important for the shoulder to touch down, and it's not important for the knee to stay down. So just find that really nice stretchy in-between place. And you can look to the right and take 3 deep breaths. After that third exhale, just let yourself unwind in the space between breath. Center your body up on your mat, hips, head, shoulders center, right leg extends long. And you can just scoot your hips a little bit over to the left. Left foot on right thigh, right hand over knee. Inhale. As you exhale, roll everything over to the right. Bring your left arm with you. We're going to sweep that left arm forward, up toward the ceiling, and then open it out as you start to roll your head. Start to roll your upper torso, and you can turn your head as far as you like. Is it feeling good for your neck to look to the left? 3 deep breaths. At the end of that third exhale, just let yourself unravel out of the pose, coming back to center. And then extend your legs slightly angled out so that your feet are going towards the corners of your mat. You can let the arms move slightly away from the body. If it feels good for you, you can let your palms face up in this classic resting pose. So this is going to be our final relaxation part of our practice today. And as you enter into this state of letting go, if you like, you can take 3 releasing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So this can be breathing out through pursed lips or with mouth open, breathing out through the throat. Either way, try to let there be some sound. You can even blend a vocal sound with an air sound. And then it's time to let go of all the movement. Let go of the tools of the practice. And just let your body be supported by the ground. You can feel all the parts of the back from the heels through the calves, the seat, the sacrum, back of your ribs and shoulders on the ground, your back of your head, backs of the arms. And you can just let the breath move freely, however it wants to move. So we'll just give ourselves a few moments here to completely let go. You can scan the body with your mind's eye. If you find any tension along the way, or if you just want to check, you can wiggle a part, you can adjust, and then just relax it again. And then let your mind relax as well. And you can even get a sense of your brain sort of resting in the back of the skull, your heart resting back, protected in the rib cage between the lungs, your belly soft. And just let go. Act without doing. Work without effort. Think of the small as large and the few as many. Confront the difficult while it is still easy. Accomplish the great task by a series of small acts. The master never reaches for the great, thus she achieves greatness. When she runs into a difficulty, she stops and gives herself to it. She doesn't cling to her own comfort. Thus, problems are no problem for her. Gently let your awareness come back into the body. And you can move some smaller parts or take some smaller movements first. Maybe the deepening of the breath is your first internal movement. You can move fingers, toes, roll through the heels, the arms. In whatever way it feels easy and comfortable and comforting for you, you can allow yourself to reemerge from your practice and go forth refreshed and renewed. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me today and allowing me to be your guide. And have a really beautiful rest of your day, wherever it may take you. Hari Om and Namaste.